Gaya Kalderon is one of those people whose extended family was devastated by the massacre on October 7th. Her grandmother, Carmela Don, and her cousin, Carmela's granddaughter, Noya, were murdered by Hamas terrorists. Her father, Ofer, was kidnapped into Gaza, where he remains to this day. Erez, her younger brother, 12-year-old, and Sarah, our 16-year-old sister, were also taken captive, and both of them were released during the November hostage exchange. We should note her other brother, Rotam, her older brother, survived the attack by hiding in his apartment at Kibbutz near Oz for more than 8 hours until the army came to evacuate him. And of course, now the family anxious await to see if Ofer will gain his release from Gaza. And joining us in studio is Ofer's daughter, Gaya. First of all, Gaya, thank you so much for joining us. I've had the opportunity to speak to members of your family, your mother, one of your aunts, for example. Let me ask you, though, that was a while ago, let me ask you how your brothers and sisters are doing after having gone through what they have.
Of course, they are having a hard time. It's not easy at all. They're very young. They've been through a lot. But I think the issue here is now they are okay. They are with us. The issue is that their father, my father, Ofer Calderon, is not with us. And he's there in Gaza, hostages, with all the hostages. And this is the only thing that can't let us keep going in our life and feel like we can feel good about everything.
That's understandable. Let me just ask you, I'm sure you have a lot to say from this forum to many different parties. Let's start with the government of Israel, which is now weighing a potential deal. We know that the United States is trying to move it forward. We don't have to go into details of it, but what would just be your general message, for example, to your government and to the Israeli people, Israeli society this evening?
Yeah, I think that this is our last chance to make this deal. If we're not going to do it today, tomorrow, right now, so it's not going to happen. It's almost a year now that my father in Gaza, and it's crazy. This time, we have to make the deal. There's no other way to bring everyone home. There's no other way. There's so many people there that is hostages for so long. They have to come back now. They don't have time. For example, just yesterday, we got the news. I think everybody know about it. We got the news that 6 dead bodies found in Gaza, and they now in Israel. But I'm just going to remind it, they was alive hostages. They were kidnapped alive, and they dead now.
Right. We saw footage of them in captivity of some of the hostages, even just a few months ago. Yes. Presumably they could have been. You know, I've seen, like a lot of people, some of the footage your family has posted of your father, of you with your father and Ofer. He seems, to me, he almost seems like a young man. Like a very young kind of father with his kids and someone full of life. I wonder, I know, and I've heard from members, we have heard at I-24 News from members of your family that some of the hostages were able to watch I-24 News in Gaza. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's why I'm here, actually. You said so many things about my dad now. And I'm going to say that he's an amazing dad. You don't even know. I have so many stories and stuff to tell you about him, but now I'm going to focus and I want to talk to my father. I want him to listen to me. There's a chance he's listening right now, and that's why I'm here. I'm going to talk to him in Hebrew.
Sure.
אבא, אני מקווה שאתה שומע אותי. אני רוצה להגיד לך שאני כל כך אוהבת אותך ומתגעגעת אליך. ואתה הכי חזק בעולם. ואין דבר שיעצור אותך. ואני יודעת שאתה שורד את זה, למרות שזה מאוד קשה. תעשה הכל, כי אל תדאג, אנחנו עושים הכל. ואל תשכח לרגע מי אתה, וכמה אתה חזק, ומה עברת בחיים, והכל קטן עליך. ואני יודעת שזה קשה. ואני שולח לך חיבוק ענקי, שייתן לך את כל הכוחות האפשריים. ואני מקווה שאתה חולם בלילה שאתה איתנו, כי זה הולך לקרות בקרוב. ואנחנו באמת עושים כל מאמץ שאפשרי כדי להחזיר אותך הביתה, ואנחנו נמות כדי להחזיר אותך הביתה. אין לך מה לדאוג, רק תישאר חזק ותשמור על עצמך. אני כל כך מקווה שאתה שומע אותי ויודע כמה כולם בסדר, כל המשפחה בסדר. אתה היחידי שאנחנו מחכים לו. אין לך מה לדאוג. ניסן, המשפחה שלו, אמא, רותם, סער, ארז, כולנו פה מחכים לך בזכויות פתוחות. רק תחזיק מעמד, ואני מקווה שאתה שומע אותי ומצליח להבין כל מה שאני אומרת.
Gaya, can I ask you, I could translate, but I'd rather, if you could, and I'm not talking about a word for word, give our viewers in English who don't speak Hebrew a sense of what you just said.
So I just wanted him to hear that I know he's strong and he can do it, and I love him, and we all miss him so much, and that we are all good, and he's the only one we're waiting for. I don't know if he even know who's dead, who's alive, so I wanted to let him know that. And I'm just imagining that if he could hear me now, that it will make him stronger.
We did hear from some of the hostages who were released, who said that they did see, they heard, it could be on I-24 News, as you said, some of them heard there, may have heard on other forums, about the people that were out in the streets protesting for them, calling for the release, offering support, and that gave them a kind of a strength during their time in captivity.
Yeah, so this is my hope that he's seeing it now. And that's why I'm here, actually, because this is my only hope. I know he's probably having such a hard time, and I can feel that. I can feel him, and I know he's alive. Sar, my sister, saw him. He was with her. He's alive for sure. We don't want another dead bodies. We want to make the deal now. It's the only way to make everyone come home. For me, I will have a life again. And I know there's so many people like me.
Right. Now, as I mentioned, I did speak to your mother, who has been very active in media, not just in Israel, but also going, for example, to the U.S. and speaking to international media. And I wonder, because we are an international channel, now to speak to the world outside Israel. What do you expect of those people? What has your family heard from people abroad, Jewish community, and not just? And what would be your message to them, to the wider world, this evening?
I'm not going to get into politics and stuff like that.
I understand.
I just think that we are human beings, and stuff like that can't happen to anyone. This is my belief. And for now, if people that care about it see it, I want them to do everything they can to put pressure on the government, France, US, everyone, to just say that we need to make the deal now. This is the only way, believe me, this is the only way to bring my father, who I love so much, home.
Right.
That's the only thing I want. Him home with me.
Now, this has been a deal, and the hostage issue has been a matter of debate in Israeli study. Everybody wants to see the hostages home, but some people say there are different ways about doing it. There are even some people who are hostage families also have different views about whether there should be a deal now or what should be. How do you feel Israeli society, I'm talking about the government now, I'm talking about Israeli society, has been either supportive or not of your family, of your struggle? What has been your experience in dealing with other Israelis on this?
Yeah, I know. Everyone have... there's so many other opinions from what I have. But believe me, if it was your father and your sister and brother, you would want it to be the safest way. There's no other safe way. This is the only way that the hostages can be back home 100%. There's no other way. Other ways is dangerous, and people can die. Not even the hostages, other people, and we don't want it. We want just the hostages home, because they are poor people who did nothing but living their life. Yeah, and
Right.
you know, I'm gonna give an example. Like my grandpa, he used to drive 6 children from Gaza, and what they did, they murdered his wife. So you know, it's so sad. But let's.
You mean he used to help out the Palestinians?
Yeah.
Many of the people that lived, for example, in Near Oz, were people who believed in coexistence and did projects to try to build coexistence with the Palestinians in Gaza.
Yeah. What I'm saying, I'm only 22 years old, but what I'm saying is let's make the change now. Let's try to make a different life. Let's bring them home, and then just I want everybody to live their life in peace and, you know.
Right. Guy, you spoke about your father, your siblings, your grandfather, your family. If I may just ask about yourself, just one word, about how it's been coping with, in a way, I hate it's almost terrible to say this, you're the lucky one in your family, but what a burden it's been. Just a word on just what's gotten you through this past year.
You're right, I am the lucky one for my family. It's so sad. It's very hard to live like that. I don't have a life. I'm trying to survive every day. I become such a strong person now, but still, I don't feel like I have life. Until my father is gonna come back, I don't have a life. I don't have nothing. We're all waiting for him so much. We love him. I just want to like hug him and tell him that he's fine, he's all right, he's with me now. I want to, you know, my whole life he used to help me and do everything for me. That's my father. I think everyone, you know, what the meaning of father is. And now I want to help him. I'm waiting for him to get here, and I'm going to do everything I can to just make him feel safe.
Right.
And good.
Well, Gaya, I've had many of these conversations since October 7th last, and it almost shocks me to say that here we are. We're talking about a 1-year anniversary of an event which still, I think, 111 dead, both 109, excuse me, alive and have passed, hostages still in Gaza. Here we are, so many more months. I do hope, of course, that Ofer will come back as soon as possible, safe and sound, be reunited with you and your family, and all your family can recover from this. Gaya Kalderon, thank you so much for coming on to I-24 News.